All right, so I hope you enjoyed that glimpse of Levy, a Latvian rock band with many symbols there, both musical through the use of the choir and the rock scream that was used to express living within the principles of one's heritage. And then lots of visual symbols in that video as well, those harmonies, and we spoke through the guitar solo a little bit. Next, we're going to stay in 1991, where now it's becoming more heightened in terms of the threat of violence, and Moscow is sending tanks to try to stop the workings of government. Here's what a Lithuanian poet said at a funeral in January of 1991, where Baltic nonviolent principles were becoming tested by fire, says the author, Guntis Smichens, who is a professor at the University of Washington in Baltic Studies. In this chain of hands embracing all of Lithuania, referring to the folks that stood up against tanks and automatic rifles, against darkness and violence, against shameless lies and libel. A lot of what I heard last night when our government reconvened. So this was the end of the singing revolution. But some of that language of truth, using art to speak truth, using rhetoric to speak truth, that was sort of what emerged as the main ideals that were being trampled on last night. So here they are being upheld. Here's what he says: our hearts do not call for revenge, they call for justice, for humanness. That they believe in the universal principles of truth and humanity. So we're going to now venture into a look at 1991 and the Barricades. I'm going to show you, my wife was able to visit these. These are where people came together from all over the country because they wanted to form a barrier around the Capitol where the legislators were meeting so that tanks couldn't steamroll that, or the national television, the places where folks were able to communicate. They wanted to protect those places. So they surrounded them with metal, wood, debris, whatever they had, and then camped out there and supported each other in song, supported each other by cooking food on open fire. It was January, it was freezing, very cold. And let's take a look at how this might be framed in photo. Okay, so I'm just going to start here. This is from the Museum of the Barricades of Riga. It's an actual museum in Riga. Days of Uncertainty and Demonstrations, January 1991. Let's go down to here. It was a time of great uncertainty and fear because nobody knew how Russia would react. The three freedom defenders were attacked and killed by Soviet OMON forces, but optimism was expressed due to the many persistent and active freedom defenders who were dedicated to peaceful activities, such as the building of barricades. In Riga from the 13th to the 27th of January, 30 years ago next week, hence the museum's name. So this is a museum. It shows early days of the barricades where folks are just beginning to stand together, linking arms and saying, we will stand here against any violent demonstrations or any violence threatened by Moscow. Okay, so we're going to, this is in Riga now, on the right-hand side of your screen, if I can get that to you in a better image. You can see still the Lenin statue there, but here's the Orthodox Cathedral, the Russian Orthodox Cathedral, a beautiful building with an amazing acoustic, and just a very special place. And you can see barricades forming here. You can see trucks lining up. So this is the 30th anniversary of this event. So the Parliament was meeting, right, and folks were going to defend it. Here's the TV towers, people surrounding the TV towers, so that people could communicate about what was going on. Here are the barricades growing now, right, with just debris and everything they could find, and then humans themselves standing together, trying to make sure that people could get through safely where they needed to go, but making sure that no one would get in that had violent intent. Something that did not happen last night at our United States Capitol building. Residents of Riga provided food and drink for those on the barricades, so people that lived in the town would come and make sure that people were hydrated and nourished. So it was a national awakening, the culmination of it. Lots of singing very central to this, to keeping yourself warm in 1991. So I hope you've gotten a better sense of some of the important things that I wanted you to understand about the groundwork for the music. I think we can bring this into our further projects as we start to think about putting things together. This may be a good starting point for some of our projects as well, this discussion. So I hope you've learned a few things about the Baltic nations of Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania as I reflect in my own way through my own musicological research on the events of the last 24 hours. I will speak with you soon and look for further directions for our Google Classroom after this. Thank you very much. Please follow the playlist if you'd like to listen to this music, and I'll create some further listings as we go along. Have a great afternoon.